You know what is wild? This year, I've had my lowest reach and lowest engagement on social media in the history of me being on this platform, just like many other people and maybe you are experiencing right now. But on the flip side of that, it has actually been my highest revenue and highest profit year ever. Yep, so I've got the lowest eyeballs, but the highest income. So if you have been spiraling lately every time a post tanks, if you have been questioning whether any of this on social media still works, you need this episode. Because what I am going to share about how I have achieved this, I hope will really help you to see that growth is still possible and your business can still boom in this environment. As a female online business owner with dreams of more income, more impact, and more freedom, you know there's more potential in your business waiting to be unlocked. But figuring out how to shape and transform your biz and get seen, loved, selling, and scaling can feel like, well, a mystery. So how do you cut through the noise, create offers that deeply resonate, sell and scale without you always being on, all while creating a life you love? That is exactly what this show is about. Welcome to Seen, Loved, Selling, Scale. I'm Corinda, your small biz marketing sidekick, digital offer strategist, and online biz bestie. With tens of thousands of digital offers sold, tens of thousands of people helped, and millions of dollars in revenue generated in my own business as a small business owner. And through this podcast, I am here to share it all. You'll gain clear, actionable insights, strategies, and shortcuts to master your online marketing, build scalable online offers, and create a business model that works for you as much as it works for your people, so you can grow your income, amplify your impact, and free up more of your time. Let's get started. All right, so it has just come end of financial year in Australia. So I have had the fun and the joy of looking through my numbers and having some amazing interactions with my accountant. And this year, I have had my highest ever revenue, but more importantly, my highest ever profit. Because it's all well and good to say I had a high revenue year, but if that is actually going out in expenses or ad spend or something like that, then it's time to look into my business to see why the heck that happened. But this wasn't only my highest revenue year, it was my highest profit year as well, with massive profit margins. So not just sales, not just top line, we are talking profit, what I get to keep, which is kind of the point, right? And I want to say this because I know there's so many business owners right now looking at their insights, watching their views drop on Instagram, on social media, feeling like they're doing something wrong. And here is the reminder, and this is what this year has really reminded me about, and that you are not broken, your business is not busted, it isn't hopeless. Your lower reach on Instagram, on other platforms, does not have to mean lower results. Your business can still thrive. Your business can still grow. Your business can still be profitable as heck, even when Instagram is playing hard to get, right? And that is what we are going to unpack today. Because this year, and I pinch myself saying this, I hit 7 figures as a one-woman show with a part-time support person. I worked normal hours. I avoided burnout. I had the most peaceful, profitable, powerful year I have ever had in business. And it wasn't by being viral. It wasn't by chasing trends. It sure as heck wasn't by being lucky. It was about strategy. It was about systems. And it was about smart marketing and decisions. There are 5 things that I really, really believe created this. And here's the thing. This isn't just happening in my business. This is also happening in the businesses of the people that I get to help and mentor as well. And so I know these things really work. So in today's episode, we are diving into these 5 things about how I believe I was able to grow in an environment where some things like reach, like engagement are shrinking across the board. Things that I hope you can steal for your business, your mindset, and your moves as well. So let's go. Let's talk. One of the things that I think has truly contributed to being able to grow even when Instagram reach and engagement is shrinking And this is not about marketing off Instagram. This is about using Instagram, but better. Because yes, like absolutely everybody on this platform, I felt the shift too these last 12 months. Reach is harder. Engagement is slower. We are literally in an engagement recession. This is not 2020 anymore where you can throw up a post and, it will just be liked by the people that love you. People are liking and loving silently. Reach is less than before. But here is the thing. I still use Instagram. I still love Instagram, but I really use it intentionally. And I've always used it intentionally and always taught this as well. But right now, this is even more important than ever. I am more conscious about this than ever and really make sure my strategy is in line. Because when we are using Instagram, we want to be making sure that every single view of your account matters. And that is what we want to be doing. We want to be driving people to our accounts using some visibility strategies. And I talk about these all the time. We've got episodes on it. And spoiler alert, next week is another episode on one of the strategies I'm using and other people are using right now on Instagram as well. But it is about working for some visibility on Instagram, but making sure when people get to your account, they see meaning there. Your content is mapped out. It's meaningful. It works to drive action. And I do this through a few things. I do this through a strategic bio. I do this through strategic pinned posts. And I do this through what I call my 12-post plan, which is where we go through making sure that the last 12 to 20 posts that you put on your Instagram are an entire portfolio. They get you seen, they get you loved, they get you selling. That way when people come onto your account, they literally have something that makes them feel seen, that sees you, that connects with you. They see content that is compelling on there, and they see recent content that is a call to action. And these same things are pinned as well at the same time to really make sure that your account, the minute someone can see it, can move through. And here is the problem of what I see people doing on their account at the moment. They try to do content that is high reach. And I get it, right? Like in a time where reach is low and people think they need more of it, people are just focusing on high reach style content. And while, yes, that should be one part of your plan, absolutely, you need to get seen, loved, and selling in, like that seen part matters. What we don't want to be doing is only trying to get seen and not get loved and selling. And what is happening, I see a lot of, is I'll go to someone's account and it's all really surface level, trend type stuff, brand building type stuff, reach type stuff. And that's amazing, but it also needs to be stuff that shows why you, your method, your strategies, your processes, your product point of difference, stories, that emotional connection, and then calls to action as well, that really activating, I need to move forward, I need to be deeper into this person's world type stuff. And so what I want you to really take away from this is it is so important right now that your content is intentional. Reach is lovely, but it doesn't build businesses alone. If someone scrolls past you and never thinks of you again, if they're not activated to go to your account and then be triggered even further to move forward, like I need this, I need her, I want this, I want her, I want to look further, then Instagram isn't doing anything for your business. And that is the real talk of this. You are not a creator that needed to get that view to actually have the platform pay you. You want to be moving people off the platform into your business, into your DMs, to your sales pages, to your websites, to your booking forms, whatever it may be, to actually turn people's views into profit and into impact for them as well. So using Instagram super strategically has been one of my things, and hang around for part 5 because I want to talk about this even more, right? So that was part 1 of what I believe has helped me to make profit more peacefully, even while my reach and engagement, like everyone's, has been low. The second thing I've been doing is using content marketing as a whole. And this won't come as a surprise to a lot of you, but as a content marketing sidekick, I am not here to help you master social media alone. I am here to help you implement what works on social media, but more importantly, what works for marketing for small businesses to make money, to make income, to make impact. Because here's the thing, content marketing, I believe, is easier to use to build a business than just social media alone. I use social media as one part of my marketing, and so do the people that I have the privilege of working with. But we use other elements as strong as they can be to help us to connect and convert. So as one example of this, email for myself and my community has absolutely been a game changer this year. When algorithm reach is low, being able to whip up an email in the same amount or less time that I would be making a carousel or a reel or a caption and sending that out where I can instantly get more control over the people I'm reaching and also have those people be warmer, already having converted to my brand to get onto my email list, be that through a freebie, be that through them being past customers. The effort that we put into email marketing has so many more returns. So this is just one element of actually using content marketing and not thinking, oh my gosh, I didn't reach anyone on social media yesterday or as many people as I wanted. I better start freaking out about posting 3 times a day or thinking about closing my business down or whatever it might be. I think to myself, how else can I get seen? And of course, it's going to my email list or having those other methods to be able to get seen, loved, and selling. And of course, a part of that as well, of content marketing as a whole, is the fact that myself and my community don't just prioritize organic marketing. We also dabble or go all in on paid marketing as well. So being able to know how to run ads that are actually profitable, that actually mean something. There's too many people that throw money at ads and end up losing money. But I was able to have ad spend in my business and still take so much profit. And this is what we were talking about with revenue versus profit before. It's all well and good to say I had a 7-figure year, but if I spent 7 figures of that on advertising, then that's not a 7-figure year, right? Like I might have made 7 figures, but what do I have to show for it? I am using minimal amount of ad spend to also help me get seen, loved, and selling really, really strategically. And so are my community. And recently, I also released a new strategy about that. And this is what I was talking about before, about a way to get seen. And next week's episode is going to be about that. So stick around with that when I talk this ad strategy as well. But it's really important that as business owners, we are looking at the ways that we get seen, love, selling, and scale. And that is what this entire podcast is about. And so you need to ask yourself, how am I getting seen? I'm using organic Instagram. I'm using email marketing. Do I also need to have some kind of ad strategy in there as well? And tune into next week's episode to talk about that even more. But this is what we want to be looking at, but making sure those ad strategies are profitable so we can make sure that they are actually working for us in our business and we are not just working to, give Meta or wherever it is you run ads money. So the third part of how I was able to reach less people and get less engagement, but make more revenue and profit is my offer suite, what I call a value ladder. And this is so important. And this is something that gets missed by a lot of people because so often we are focused on acquisition of customers. We want to get more eyeballs. We want to get more followers. We want to get more leads. And that's fine because we do need new people in our world. But once someone's in your world, you want to retain those people as well. They have an entire journey, an entire suite of needs to get through. And if you can make sure that you are positioned to help them across that journey, your business will be so much better off. And the way that I do this and teach this is through a value ladder. So someone comes into my world, I help them with their first pain point, desire, or need. then they're going to, once they've moved past that, have another desire, pain point, or need in my niche. I help them with that. Then they're going to have another desire, pain point, or need in order to get to their end transformation. And I help them with that as well. And so what that means for me is that when I acquire someone, whether it is through organic marketing, whether it is through paid marketing, it all has a cost, right? If I'm paying Meta to show ads to people, that has a cost. If I am sitting at my desk writing content to put out organically, that has a cost. My time is money. Either way, it actually costs time, energy, or dollars. But let's say that an average acquisition costs me $20, right? So it might cost me $20 in time, energy, or money to get a customer into my world. And maybe that person gets on my email list. Maybe they buy a low ticket offer, whatever it is, they've come in. Let's say the first thing they buy is worth $100. So great. I spent $20 to get that person and I have made $80 profit after that before everything else comes out that might need to come out of that. That's awesome. And a lot of people might run their business that way and think, okay, so ad spend or acquisition cost is like 20% of my revenue. $20 out of 100 is 20%. But what I do is I think, okay, so I've just got that person for $20 and I have the money that they've given me was 100. So 20% was my acquisition cost. But then I think to myself, how can I serve that person more? And how can I serve that person more after that? So how can I take someone from $100 spend and their first transformation to a $500 spend and getting them an amazing second transformation in line with their goals? And then how can I take that person to $1,000 total spend, but also get them the entire way and help them make that transformation? And these dollar figures are made up, but you can see how my business then goes from being 20% cost of acquisition to a tiny fraction of acquisition cost. And so many people do not pay attention to this. So when I put a post up on social media and I do everything that I can to get that person into my world, and let's face it, it has been harder and harder to do that. I more and more focus on the back end of my business to keep that person, to keep them longer and make sure my business is one that can serve them. And truly, as a business owner, this actually just brings me so much joy. So let's put the strategy aside too, to actually be able to create long-term relationships with people, to have the joy of being a part of someone's journey longer term is the most incredible feeling in the world. Not to mention having this business owner hat on of like it being damn smart as well. So this is something that I am so proud of in my business that I've been able to structure and teach people as well. This is what we do over in the Scalable Business School, structuring businesses that when you get people into them, people want to stay and you have this lifetime value with these customers, which means that marketing, the effort that you're putting in there pays off so much more in the long run as well in all of the ways. So part 4 about being able to continue to be a growing business, even when Instagram or social media stats are doing the opposite, is the way that this year, this past 12 months, I've really focused on shifting my offers to still be world class. And it's really, really, really important to note there's been a lot of changes in the last 12 months that we've spoken about. There is the change to personal branding being more prevalent. There is the change to trust being lower than ever. And we've spoken about all these things on the podcast. Head back and check the actual titles of these podcasts and you'll see ones that really stand out about trust, about personal branding. And I cannot share enough how important that is to get into. But one of the other things that we've spoken about a lot is other things that are changing in the environment, for example, like AI and people's adoption of that. Or it might be that trust is lower and people expect to see the person more in a program, yada, yada, yada. There's all these changes that have been happening. And you really need to know what's important to your IC right now, because there's not just one answer to, oh, you should do this to your programs in order to make your IC happy. There's no cookie cutter answer to this, but what there is you going to your IC and understanding how their expectations have changed around your services, around your offers, around your products. So for example, one of the things I did this year was I went through and made my bot besties. So really understanding that there was this massive opportunity to serve better in my programs with the release and adoption of my audience in using AI. And so I went on a massive, massive exciting learning curve to learn how to build bots and built the suites of bot besties that you now see in my programs. And that has meant that I, again, have kept people in my programs for longer in my membership. So my retention is huge. My churn is really low. People stay for longer. My programs, when people see them, are more magnetic. So again, when we want to do everything we can with every single view, since every single view is so precious, my programs really speak to people. And similarly, I shifted the messaging and position around my programs as well when needed, because the pain points or desires that you were talking about last year on your sales page, in your content, in your stories that sell, wherever it is, may not be the pain points and desires that people have right now. Things can shift, and you really want to be shifting your messaging with that. It's not something that you need to be doing every single week, every single day, but I urge you to take a look at your offers, at your products, at how you're packaging things. Like if you're a product-based business, for example, are you doing free shipping? Is that important to your people? Is it not important to your people? Is how you're sending things out important? Is where you're sourcing your things from important? These are the types of things that you really want to understand about. Am I still staying up with market expectation and being an absolute leader in this area? So you retain people more and your acquisitions are easier in a time where we have lower reach. And lucky last, and one of the ones that I think is so truly important and not spoken about enough, is that I do not let low reach define my worth. I do not let low reach make me feel low long term. And now I have to be really honest with you. I am human as well. And when I create a piece of content that means something to me, that I think is just fantastic or vulnerable or helpful or whatever it might be, and it gets low reach, of course I feel bummed out about it, right? Like I sit there and I'm like, what the heck? Instagram, you sucked. Like, why did that other post get more reach and this one didn't? Yada, yada, yada. Like, we're all human. And if you're going through that as well, I'm just sending you so much love. But what I've really had to do is take that moment to like shake myself out of that and be like, okay, so take this, email it to your list. Take this, make a podcast about it. Repurpose this in a week or two. Get it out on your blog. Whatever it might be, you are still worthy. This message is still worthy, even if the algorithm didn't push it out because it doesn't have a trending song right now, or, there was other things that were brighter, catchier, more colorful, like whatever it was. And of course, I'm going to try and optimize my content for that the next time to do less but better. But I no longer allow it to define my worth, because here's the other thing that I find happens. When I let myself fall into that spiral, fall into that longer term, oh my gosh, my business is going to fail, Instagram sucks, Instagram hates me, my community mustn't like me anymore, like that very natural spiral that we can go down, what I find is that flows into other areas of my marketing. I don't want to get on stories that day. I feel that it's, pointless. I don't want to send the email. Here's the mindset change I had to make. When my reach is low on Instagram, spending time elsewhere and going harder there, more potent, more energetic, more hungry, more convicted is even more important. When I have a low reach day on stories, it is the time that I make sure I turn up even more magnetically. I really double down on finding that topic that is really on my IC's head and heart right now and talking about that. I really make sure that I get that message to the email and send it out, even if my open rates are down on email, because this stuff can trickle through everywhere. But what I do is I get more convicted and I think, okay, if less people are going to see this, how can I make it even better? And this has not just held my conversion rates, but increased my conversion rates again to the point where I am getting seen less, but my business is still growing because I'm really, really saying if I am going to be seen by less people, I am going to make every single set of eyes, every single beautiful person on the other side of that screen's moment in time means so much more from what they are seeing. And this, I really think, is one of the biggest things that has helped me to change that mindset. And I really hope that you can take this away as well, because one of the things I see is my reach on Instagram was so low. So I just thought, why bother, and started pulling back. And people pull back from all marketing, just thinking this isn't going to work, thinking about changing niches, thinking about burning the business down, like whatever it is, we all go through it. But I want you to think the opposite. I want you to say, my reach is low. I am going to go high elsewhere to reach those people, to intentionally create success without letting that Instagram algorithm stop me. And it might not be Instagram for you. It might be TikTok or LinkedIn or whatever it is, YouTube not pushing out your videos. This is universal, right? But when one thing isn't working for you, that is not your worth defined. It is simply just marketing and algorithms and computer and robots. And you have real people to reach on the other side, and you can do that. It is about going and pushing harder in those other avenues. And I don't mean doing more. I want you to hear that. I'm not saying, okay, now go spam your email list. I'm saying when you think about writing that email, to go out and say, okay, I was going to have this subject line on it. Is that the best subject line? I was going to have this topic. Is that the best topic? Does it need to be a little bit more nuanced? Do you need a little tiny bit more research? I was going to send it out this way. Does it need a little bit more of you in there? Does it need a little bit more trust, a little bit more personal brand? I want you to think like that and ask yourself, how can I make sure that this one piece is 110% instead of maybe the 90 I was going to be okay with when I was getting really high reach on Instagram? And then the two together would have been a great amount for me. But right now I'm going to push this other one out further. So to recap, those are the things that have really, really, really helped me in business this financial year to get to a point where my business is still thriving, even when social media might be a less strong element for my business than it has been before. Because what I really, really, really want to do and want to help you remember and take away from this is that in a world where somehow we can incorrectly associate social media success with business success, I want to keep shining a spotlight on the fact that businesses succeed when they use marketing, offers, and you as the engine in the best way. And marketing can be done in so many different ways. Our offers can be the key to building profitable businesses, and your mindset overall to be able to not drop your worth when reach drops, to be able to be convicted to go elsewhere. These are the things that make successful businesses. Social media reach is one fantastic tool we could be using when it's available. Our social media content as a portfolio is something we should be using for our businesses, I believe, but it is not the thing that your success relies on. It is your marketing overall, your offers, and you. And next week, we are going to look at an element of marketing that I've more recently been promoting. In fact, in the past, I have said that I would take or leave this type of marketing, but it is now something that I truly believe in this current environment is so helpful to so many people. And I will be sharing that in next week's episode to help you get seen. But I really hope that you leave this episode knowing in your head and your heart that no matter what your Instagram is doing right now, you can ignite your business success by looking at your marketing, your offers, and you. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Seen, Love, Selling, Scale podcast. I hope today's episode left you feeling inspired, fired up, and empowered to make serious moves that align with your goals and version of success, both in life and business. If you loved what you heard, head over to www.thisisco.com.au to find all the links and resources mentioned in today's episode. And if you aren't already following the show, make sure you hit that follow button so you never miss a future episode when it drops. I'll see you again next week, same time, same place, same goal to get you seen, loved, selling, and scaling. See you then.